Come on, Jonesy, I'll get you out of here. Oh, you've lost so much weight. Oh, you've got so many heads. It's on my head. Yeah. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the show. I am so glad to see you. This is so refreshing doing this show and getting to talk about Batman Beyond with all of you. Now, if you're new here, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad to see you as well, because this is the show where we go through and we review each and every episode of a show that we grew up and loved as kids, growing up in the 80s and 90s. And right now I'm going through a series talking about each and every episode of Batman Beyond. If this sounds like something you might enjoy, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button and maybe click the like button, because today we're talking about a pretty cool episode, Spellbound, which originally aired on May 1st, 1999.
Don't be afraid. I don't bite.
It's funny, one of the things that I think makes me as big of a Batman fan as I am is not really having much to do with Batman at all, but the villains, the rogues gallery, the people, the adversaries that he goes up against. And it's fun watching Batman Beyond and seeing a whole new host of villains that he has to face off against, and the inventive ways that the writers use to come up with and introduce new villains. And this episode is no exception. Spellbound is, as a character, is a really cool premise for a villain, particularly a Batman villain, and I think has a great way, a great introduction in this episode. But we're going to talk all about that right after our 60-second blight bomb to see if I can give you a complete synopsis of this episode, all 22 and a half minutes of it in 60 seconds or less. I'm not good at it, and I'll probably fail, but it's fun. We see a girl going home from a date with a boy, and she meets up with this strange figure, and then all of a sudden she thinks she's in the jungle, and she's takes this thing from her parents' house and goes and throws it off a cliff, and then she comes to, and then Barbara Gordon is at the high school and talking to the counselor and is going, oh, this is weird, I don't know, I think it's just her problem. And then it happens again to somebody else where he's in an auction store, and he thinks he's in this war, and this keeps happening, and Batman is suspicious of this. Bruce is going, I think it's just these personal issues of these people. And then Terry is at a wedding with his friend's parent, and she, the bride, is coming down, and all of a sudden Spellbound is in the audience, and she begins to think that she is in these insects are all around her, and then she gets ready to jump off this cliff, and Batman comes in and saves her, and he gets affected by this, and then it's only through Bruce Wayne talking him through it that it doesn't happen, and then he's going, God, I really thought I could skip through some of the details and still get the essence of it. But then Terry is fighting the Spellbound again, and he starts seeing these zombies popping out of the ground, and Bruce is trying to talk through them, seeing through his eyes, and he finally takes them down, and then Barbara Gordon, the new commissioner, is taking them away, and Terry goes, yeah, we took care of that, as if Barbara doesn't know that he's Batman. She was Batgirl.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Deakins. We feel exactly the same way.
There's something really cool about this opening scene. Actually, there's a couple of things that are really cool about it. One is the animation of it. They have kind of that foggy glow look to it. Something like this. And I just always thought that's such a cool film noir kind of look, where it just, that hazy kind of glow, where you feel like you're going to be narrating a detective story. Anyway, I love that look. Maybe it was just my monitor, but they did that in this section, which I thought was just really cool, and I really enjoy, again, just being a big detective film noir fan, that look was neat in there, and it worked as, laying a little bit of a spooky environment, and this girl walking home alone.
It's 3 houses away, Rick.
But then the other thing that's neat is we just, bam, introduce this villain, introduce this character. We don't know necessarily he's a villain. I mean, it's not hard to figure out, but we see him, And then all of a sudden she's transported into this jungle setting. Just in a matter of a few seconds, we see this character, we see the look of him, we question what he's doing, and immediately he showcases his power. We didn't need a big drawn out introduction of how he got that and why he's doing this and who he is, but it just happens.
What is that?
An adventure.
And we do it with a character that we haven't met yet, I don't think. I don't think the girl is an established character, just somebody random from the high school. That is all kind of cool. And I like the way that they just jump in and introduce this. And what a great power, what a great ability to make people see whatever you want them to see in order for them to carry out the crimes for you. And then you get all the spoils of it. What a great villain. Spellbound.
This madman should be considered very deadly.
Now, admittingly, it's been a while since I've been in high school. But again, as we talk about some of the future tech that's in this show, digital lockers, that seems like something that should be happening now, if they're not already. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been in a high school, but I don't believe they have that. But that would be a great idea, is that, one, they can all be linked up, and then, you know, the administration and whoever needs to get into lockers can get in there, or they can just change codes between the school years as you get a new locker and that. And the other advantage is if you forget your combination, then they don't have to take out the old bolt cutters and cut off the lock.
No big deal.
Or if you were like me, and I don't know why, when I was in, I think, middle school, when we first started getting our own lockers, I thought I would be different than everybody else. And I got like a padlock with a key in it instead of a combination lock. And I want to say like that same week, I left my keys at home because I didn't drive. It was in middle school, so I didn't drive to school, so I didn't have any reason to carry keys with me. And I left I think it was the only thing on my key ring, to be honest with you. And I was like, well, shoot, I can't even, open it if I wanted to. And I had to go get them to cut it off. And I remember the principal saying, you should really just get a combination lock. So I did. And then I have a really bad memory with stuff like that and quickly forgot the combination of the lock. I still had to get it cut off. It was like all within the same school year. It was embarrassing. School's tough.
To be frank, this is Chelsea's pattern.
Anyway, digital lockers would have been great because then they could just go in there and be like, oh, beep, 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 beep. All right, you're open. But no, poor little Andy had to go down to the office and have them carry the big bolt cutters. I was also really shy at that time. Anyway, I'm getting way off topic. The point is that is tech that is not too far-fetched for the show to be guessing that we would have by that time. And two, it seems like the technology is out there that could exist. And with these new schools, they now have digital blackboards or whiteboards that they're using in class and smart monitors and things like that. Digital lockers. It's a no-brainer.
Told you so.
And again, as they're creating these new villains for Batman Beyond, there are some recurring themes to the villains, but kind of new spins on them. And this one is, certainly Spellbound is a little bit like Scarecrow in the essence where he is making people see things that aren't there, but is different in the sense that he's making them see whatever he wants, not necessarily just their fears, but it feels very much like he's more in control of creating this fantasy or this illusion for them that they are not able to tell what's going on and not just bringing up something that's already inside them like Scarecrow does with their fears.
What's going on?
But at the same time, as cool of a gimmick as that is, and I love that setup for that villain, it does seem like a whole lot of trouble to go to steal some jewels. Of course, he doesn't get blamed for it because he's got somebody else doing his bidding.
Well, you know how I hate to disappoint.
But he also is wearing a very outlandish costume that feels like that would draw a lot of attention to him. Still, cool villain nonetheless.
What the heck are you?
Also, something else that's been recurring in the show that I haven't talked about yet is the newscasters in the future.
With this second report of a spellbinder hypnotizing citizens.
I don't know what the logic is behind them going to this sort of like overlay silhouette of their face as they're delivering the news. It's got to be a way to update the news. Like I was talking about in The Winning Edge, sports is something that hasn't been updated a lot over time. television news is another thing that they went widescreen and kind of got a little bit more pizzazz in their graphics and a little bit more digital elements and not as many monitors on set. But it's still two people sitting at a desk reading the news. So that hasn't updated a lot. So the projection that in the future, newscasters are just going to be kind of this silhouetted face. I don't know if they're supposed to be like digital news anchors, like a Max Headroom thing, or if that's just the look of the person that is, delivering the news from behind like a glass or something that just creates a silhouette. I don't know, but I've seen it recur a few times in the episode. I haven't got a chance to talk about it yet, but that's interesting. I don't know, just something to point out.
Now suit up and get out there.
One more thing about future tech in this episode is the drone photographers. That we're not far off from that. I mean, there are drones that do video footage, and they even have like selfie drones that you can use. I don't think we're far off from having drones actually in a wedding or in a indoor building that are just flying around getting photos. Right now, it's still a little bit of a wild card that they may just veer off and run into people or drop out of the air into somebody's lap. But I don't think we're far off. I think we're getting real close to that, which seems to make sense. I mean, think of it as a photographer or a videographer that you could get those shots exactly where you want it. And you don't have to. You're not obstructing anybody's view as you're standing there taking photos. So I think that's technology that's on its way.
But you're against this wedding.
Also, this episode, there's a moment where the Batman catches the bride as she's about ready to fall and uses his rocket feet to blast off, which is makes this new Batman costume, which I keep forgetting is like a tech outfit and has a lot of tech involved in it. It's almost like just an Iron Man suit, that it is intuitive and it can do all these things, and instead of Jarvis it has Bruce Wayne talking in your ear.
Wayne, you alive?
Very funny.
But again, speaking of future tech, I mean, that would be the evolution of the Bat outfit, is that it should have more tech. Utility belt was always a key element to the old Batman. Now the whole suit is all these elements, but does take away a little bit of the personal ability of Bruce Wayne or Batman or the person wearing the suit, and puts it more reliant or more on the side of the tech or the outfit, which I'm sure will be a theme that'll be dealt with a little bit more. But Terry, is just kind of an average kid, and certainly has his wits and his abilities, but certainly the suit is doing a lot of that.
Switch on your vid link. Let's have a look.
I do like the reveal of Ira Billings, the guidance counselor, being behind that. That was kind of a neat thread that was kind of weaved in there.
All of Spellbinder's victims had one thing in common. Dr. Ira Billings.
It was a little obvious that that's the direction they were going, but I do like that element that here's somebody in Terry's high school that is behind this and is using the kids to get to his means. Again, he does kind of get reduced to that villain that's just, hey, I'm going to go rob some places.
Now I'm taking what I've earned.
This episode also gives a great opportunity to give Batman or Bruce Wayne a little bit more to do. I know I said I was going to call him Bruce Wayne. It's really hard to have it to break. They give him an opportunity to kind of have a little bit more to do as the controller or the behind the scenes guy to Terry McGinnis's Batman out in the field doing the actual physical part that Bruce Wayne can no longer do. But in this one, where he's able to see through the mask or see through Terry's eyes, he's the one that ends up controlling or having to help Terry talk him through this and not be drawn into what thinks he's seeing there, which would have been a great tool that they could have used with Scarecrow if they had that technology then.
You've got to look around so I can help.
I thought that was a great use of Bruce Wayne and a way of him, again, not just being reduced to the commentary or being reduced to the narration of the episodes, but them really working together. Bruce Wayne just with his wits and what he can see and his operations center there, and Terry doing the physical thing, but being compromised because of the spell that's coming from Spellbound.
There! Locked now!
Something that I've noticed too about this series, particularly here in the first season, is the endings of some of these episodes, they build up to have a lot of story. And I don't know if it's just by the nature of them cramming a lot of information into a small, condensed time period of window of time in the episode. But some of these episodes they end really abruptly. I mean, they're building up to something and then they just...
Stay out of trouble, kid.
So when it comes time to rank this episode, it's fun. This episode was just fun. I like how they were able to show kind of different scenarios of the different people and play that out, a little mystery of what's going on. Somebody in the school that's involved in this. The way that Bruce and Terry are able to work together to make one Batman, two people making one Batman. A lot of fun elements to that. Again, it was kind of just a basic plot of bad guy wanting to steal things. But all in all, it's a pretty solid episode. So for those reasons, I have it falling kind of in the middle of the list at the number 4 spot of my favorite episodes so far. It falls just below Heroes because Heroes had a lot of neat elements to it and kind of was just a more interesting kind of anti-hero group of people and a little bit more of a mystery or detective work that was involved in that episode. But I do have this one beating out the pilot episode Rebirth. Rebirth is good. It's a necessary episode. It tells the origin of Batman and they do it well and they don't spend too much time on it. And they have a great story in there as well that they're telling. But at the end of the day, it is just that. It is the opening show. It's the opening episode. It's the pilot episode. And it was just sort of necessary to do that, where this one has a great story, great villain, and kind of already have all that stuff established, the kind of business work done so they can get into the story of this episode. So that's why it beats it out.
We've been working for this guy for years.
So as we're digging into these episodes, do you like these new episodes like Spellbound, or do you like more of the reincarnated villains or the villain 2.0s that they reintroduce into the series? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, please click the like button. That does a lot to help me out. And if you want to see more episodes like this, just hit subscribe because I have new episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday. And next up, I have the episode Disappearing Ink. So you don't want to miss that. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Andy Knode. I'll see you soon.